welcome to another amazing day at fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be here with Nick Hunter to discuss the wonderful and fantastic FileMaker and Claris platform. Nick is probably one of the most preeminent developers in the, frankly, in the community. He's a master at UI UX and has all sorts of really cool nifty tricks up his sleeve for us that he likes to show us. Today we are currently in the middle of our FileMaker PSOS and handling error codes and bug catching series. So we're doing that for day 2 and day 3, which will be, we're on day 2 now. Thursday and Friday are going to be multilingual files with FileMaker Pro, with API, and then that'll also be on Monday. And then there's also more events next week. They exist. I'm just busy finishing thumbnails for them because POE got in the middle of me doing things on a timely schedule. If you'd like to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. We have the FM Training Annual Subscription Bundle. We got video only and complete. They are both fantastic. They have 100+ hours of really entertaining FileMaker video content. If you know nothing about FileMaker, you can go from knowing pretty much nothing to being a competent developer able to execute on your own projects just by watching this. Thank you very much if you've already bought it. We greatly appreciate the support. And if not, feel free to give it a look. With that being said, Nick, what are we doing today?
Hello, how are you today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. And
Good.
so today we are going to learn how to transfer the errors from a script running on server and the client, right? So this will be interesting because there's many things to know about before to get there, right? So I'm going to re-explain a little bit how it works, how PSOS works, right? Perform Suite on Server. Okay, so what you need to understand about the Perform Suite on Server is this. It's like asking somebody, right? On the phone, you call somebody and you say, okay, do this, right? Okay. But you can tell yourself to do something when you know where you are, right? In which building you are, in which room you are in your apartment, which building, which apartment, which room. You know because you are in the location, right? But the server, when you ask somebody, do this, you say, okay, where to do this, right? And what to look for. And you need to tell the person, okay, on the phone, to go to the address, to go to the building, to go to the apartment and the room, and to find what you want to find. So what you need to know is this. When you're in FileMaker and you click on a button, you start from a context. You start from where you are, you know. So if you click a button in the layout, you are in a table, you are in a, you know, you have the context, you know, the relationship, right? We call that the context. And you know what, so you can start from there. So the script can be, you know, go through a record or find this and stuff based on the current record you are, sometimes the current field you are, the current table you are. Okay, so because you are on location, on premises, okay. But the server has no clue about where you are. The server will say, okay, I received an order to perform a script. So what will happen on the server at that point? And that's very important. It will start like you do when you open a file. When you go host, you open the file hosted, and you open it. What happened when you open the file? Okay. It has no clue where you are. It will start, right, from the beginning, right? Like you opening the file. So let me share my screen real quick. When you start, what's the name, a file, right? FileMaker will perform everything here. This is what happened at the beginning. This is what happened at the beginning. It will log in with the default login here. It will switch to the default layout. If you have non-defined, FileMaker will start automatically the first in the list. Right? It will start to the layout, the first layout in the list. And of course, and that's very important, it will trigger the on first window open. Right? So it will trigger the scripts on first window open, right? And it will go to the default layout. And that's it. So if you do, let's say you have a perform script on server, you have a PSOS, okay? And this PSOS says, like you do regularly, you say, okay, oh, I'm here. So you say, you here, and you want to find something, or you want to go to the read record. So you go to read record, right? Go to read. I don't know what happened today, and you say you want to go there, for example, out, right? So you do this. But because you're there, but the server will land wherever is the default landing, layout. So if you set this one, you will land in global, and you say so. The FileMaker server will open the file like a client. Perform everything at the beginning, the on first window open, and land to the default layout. That's all what the server will do. And then it will say, okay, I'm performing your script. And your script say, go to a record from the context, from the context data, the context here, right? Test PSOS. But you're not. You are not, right? So that's why always, right? You need to tell in your perform script on server where you want to go and which record to go. Because if you want to do this on server, right? If you want to do this on server and you want to go to this record, for example, right? You want to go to this record, the second record, you want to go to that record specifically. You need to say, go to layout, right? The specific layout. And you need to say, I don't know what I have today, perform find, right? And go to the record you want to go. For example, here, I want to go to that record here with the ID, because each, have an ID here. Each record has an ID, unique ID. So you say, okay, go to that record. Okay, I'm going. I want this record, right? And then you can do the thing. That means you tell the script where you were, right? When you start the script, then the script can say, okay, I'm going there. I'm going, I'm taking your Uber and I'm going. And I tell you when I'm there. Okay, so that's what you need to tell the server. You need to say, okay, I was in that layout. I want you to go to that record. And then you can go there. And then you can go there and do whatever you want. I need you to do, right? So So you will tell me how you can send to the, how you can send to the server the ID, right? So first, you cannot directly perform script on server. You need a script, You need a script that will perform the script on server, right? And here you have the opportunity to say, I want you to go to whatever ID I was in the parameter, right? Because here we have now a button. We can put a button. Okay. And then we can say this button will perform the scripts, right? And the scripts we perform the script, this one, and this script will perform script on server. I have no possibility to say perform script on server from here. You need a script that will perform the script on server. And here you say go. And then in the PSOS, you set a variable that you call, or whatever, ID. And the ID is whatever the script parameter gets, right? So you do that on the first thing. First thing you say, okay, this script sent in the parameter send to you. Let's put that together. So this script send the parameter, and that script receives the parameter, which is the ID. And then you can say, perform restore the ID. Instead of doing this, you say, okay, whatever in the variable, because we can do that. So it will perform based on the variable. And then you do whatever you want to do. But, so now you know how script on server works, right? You need to say where to go, what to find, and position and put the scripts in the same location where you were in order to do the thing like you were doing it from here, right? So, okay, I made this demonstration many times, so it's not new, okay? So yes. For our audience, it's not new, but the video will be watched by many people, so we need to... Yes. We need to refresh a little bit, so a little refresher. Okay.
Reestablish things.
So now back to our matter. Okay. The matter is I want to collect information. I want to collect errors. Here, I want to know. I want to tell when I'm here, I say, okay, if not get last error. So if I don't have not get last error, that no error, okay? This is how you say that. Do this, right? If the find works, you do this, right? The find works, you perform, right? So that's what the server will do. But I'm pretty sure that won't work, okay? So, and I want that to not, I want an error, right? So that's the goal. So the server will do this. So let's see, right? How the server, will receive this, right? Okay. So I'm doing this, and I'm performing the scripts, right? With the debugger. It opened the script, perform script on server, and it performs the scripts, right? And here I have an error. right? Record is missing, which was expected. But I have no idea which record is missing because I have two things happening, right? So first, what I want to show you is this. When you perform a script on server, FileMaker will get back the error only if you have this on. Wait for completion. If you don't, the script has no idea. There's nothing, no error. Why? It's because when you do this and you don't wait for the completion, it's like you say, do this and good luck. There's no connection whatsoever. The connection between your clients and the server is disconnected. There's no connection. We call that while. The script it's on its own. It's on its own, and there's no communication whatsoever back from this. And that can be dangerous, but for now, it's not the matter. What matters is that if you want to collect any type of error back from the server, you need to have that on, right? So this is important. The wait for completion needs and must be on. So now, I want to get back. So now I have an error happening here, right? Right? I have an error, right? Record missing. So I want to get, so I have the information because I have this on, and the information, this script step here is returning the error, right? So I could say, if get last error, show dialog, I could do this, right? And you say, okay, error, right? And you can say get last error. So this is the simplest way to do it. So you have an error 101. Okay, 101 here, right? This is the simplest way, right? So this will return an error, right? But it's not clean, right? Because it returns an error because the last thing make an error. See, I say go to layouts. If I say something like this, for example, or no, another. If I say something like this, I'm pretty sure that I won't have an error. See, I have no error. Why? Because here, the last step of the scripts is not returning an error. This was the last step of the scripts, and then I have an error because that was the last step. So doing this, it will return the last error of the last step. But if the last step has no error, this has no error. Why will fail? I said go to layout, a layout that exists. So when I click here and I do the debugger, I have no error coming, right? So you say, oh, all good. No, this failed, but it doesn't return because this is no longer the last step. This is the last step. So this one say, okay, mira, look, I'm speaking Spanish. Look, the last step I got in that script in PSOS was good. So for me, all good, all good, go, you can go home, right? But not. So how we can do to make sure we are going to collect the error when it occurs, even though it's not the last one, okay? And this is where this technique, right, comes. So you have the last, you use this and you say, okay, I want to track everything. What can fail? So you need, in the script, when you do a script on server and you have potential failure, so you're not going to track every single step, right? You're not going to do this, right? No. You want to track the more likely to fail, which is a perform fine and could be also a go to record. So, right? So that's what you want to do. So we can put this and we say, okay, this is perform fine. Okay? This is the perform fine. Right? And then you need to change this because this one is not the last step. You have this step. This step won't return error, so that will cancel this one. So if you do this, you're not going to track this. But this one tracks the last error. So you say, if not the variable, do this, right? If not the variable, if there's no error from this that is collected by this, so I refer to this, and then I do this, right? And then I want to collect that information. So yesterday I explained to you how to do this. You create a variable that has the same name of the previous one, and you say, put whatever in the previous one and add the new one. And this is the go to relate record. Okay? So I'm tracking that and I'm tracking that, right? Even though this one is not the last step, we don't care. Okay? So how we can send back to the original scripts, how I can collect the information from that when I'm here, I want to collect something, right? And this is where we use the exit script step, right? And here you can put whatever you want. It can be your calculation here. But here what I want to return whatever this variable is collecting. It's collecting one error here, right? And then now, right, I have the exit script here, right? So I do this, and the exit script will return the information. So when you do this, here, we don't do this, okay? We say, first, what I like to do is this. I have a variable, and I say, in the name of the variable, it's a global variable, okay? And I call that last script results, right? I call this. And we have a function in FileMaker that called get script results. So what is this get script results? Okay. It will collect whatever you use in exec scripts, the result here, whatever you put there, right? At the end of the script, whatever you put there in this block, in this calculation, this just after the last script, performed, will collect the result from this. Okay? Collect the result from this. But, because that's a but, you must also have this on. This is, if it's not on, no way you can collect the script result. It will collect nothing. So now the script parameter, get script parameter, is taking something from the scripts, and get read result is getting something from the script. This is getting something from the script before it runs, and this is collecting something from the script after it runs. Okay. So why I'm doing this? Why I'm doing the set variable? Why I have a global variable here is for a debug purpose, right? Because I will show you. So now you say, if not is empty this. That means if there's something in that variable, right? If there's something there, right? Not is empty, right? But it will never be empty. It will never be empty. But anyway, let's remove this. Okay. Show dialog, and I want to see this. Okay. So I have this performed. It do the thing, collects all the errors, put them there in a list. Thanks to that script step, okay, this script here, just after that, I'm collecting, and then now I can do whatever I want. So let's debug it. I perform, right? I have no error, because remember, the last script step here is not returning error. So, but thanks to the exit script step, here now I can do this. I'm setting the variable. So now I have a nice variable with my last results. So when you debug your stuff, right? When you debug, you can, collect this, and you can see at a glance what's happened in the scripts. Always, if you put that in all your scripts, perform sheet on server, that will be the last script results, the last button you pressed, because it will, if you have another script with the same variable, it will replace the results. So now, right? So now, here, I have the dialog showing me, okay, that's the error. So he said, perform fine. Good. I have something, right? Perform fine, I have something. But here I have a problem. So now right, what happened? You know what happens, right? So now you can do things, you can play with it, and I'm going to show you, right? So first, if you have question, because we had a great topic, so I see question here.
We do have questions, yes. The global variables on PSOS are cleaned up per run? Question mark.
The global variable
on PSOS are cleaned per run.
Yes. So if I have another script with the same name of the variable, we replace. It won't it won't pilot, it will replace it, right? It will replace the variable. So that's why I call that last script results of the last script you run. Okay, you run the last one you run, because the script most of the time you're interested in the result of the last one because you work on it, right? Those things are for debug purposes. Now, so we have another one, ICQ. Do you typically include a debug on-off toggle? Yes. Okay. That's a good question, Stu. Hear what I'm saying. At the beginning, I have typically a startup process. Okay, and we are going to Marge, can you write down in your note startup process or webinar? That would be a great topic. Startup process, how to start up a file. So okay. that would be a great topic. So at startup, I typically have a script, and we know that I have a script that says on first window open. Okay, and this is where I'm defining things. Okay, this is where I'm defining things. The first thing I'm defining is if I am currently running on server, right? So how you do this? If gets host application version, typically no host. If application, what's the name? Oh, not the application, the system. No, that's not. How you can the name of the I need to open a file. I don't remember.
Server?
No, it won't be. No, the server name, the application version. Yeah, application version. Okay, this is it. Application. Yep. Because application version will say will return this. Okay, no, sorry. We will send this pro, go, or server. So if you say pattern counts in the application server, you have server, right? You exit the script. Why? So this is, we back to PSOS. Remember, I told you that the server will open, when you ask the server to perform a script, it will open the file as a client and will run that file, that script. If you have a script crazy, like, oh, do this, go there, replace this, you don't need to do this, right? You don't need to do this, and you don't want that to happen. Because you on server, you just want to ignore that, right? Or you need to execute, you need to perform what you really need, because sometimes you have files that you need globals or you need whatever to, so you need to run, but only what you need. Don't run, go and replace, you know what I mean? So this is how you do. You detect if you run on server or not. That's the first thing I do. Okay. So if I run on server, if the application version is server, that means the server is doing it, I don't want that to happen. So you exit the script. Okay. So, and otherwise, so what I have a toggle, like Stu said. So that was the first thing. And the second thing, I have a toggle script, a server, so a PSOS toggle. So what is a PSOS toggle? You show a dialog, right? Show dialog. And you say, set debug. Okay. And here you said PSOS, and here you said clients, and you put cancel. Okay. So here you said if get last message choice equal 1, you set a variable, right? And the variable said PSOS, and you said true or 1, you know. Then you say else, you know, if it's 2, you duplicate this and you say false or 0. Otherwise, it will automatically, if it, you know, for example, when you have a third button cancel, you don't need to inform it. If it will return the 1, it will do, 2, it will do, otherwise it won't do. So when you do this, when you perform that script, you have this set debug PSOS. So here, you know, PSOS 1. And if you, no, not this one. If you do this, let's remove this and let's remove this. No, this I need. So you put that in your script menu. Most of the time I'm doing this. So putting that here. So you have here, and hold on. Okay, so you have the toggle here, and here you can PSOS clients. So now you have here 0, right? Or here you go there PSOS 1, right? And you have the cancel button to just say, oh, I don't want that, you know, just, you know, right? So now you have PSOS, right? How we can run a script either on server or on client based on that variable, right? So how you can do this? So here I have a perform script on server, and you say if PSOS. So if you have the hold on, okay. If you have this, that means if you have this and it says 1, true, right? If you have this said 1, you say do this on server, right? Right? But if you don't, else, so if you don't, here what you do. To perform a script as it will be on server, this is what you need to do. A new window, right? And you ask this new window to perform in the layouts that you want you to be, right? So you say, I want this window to open directly on the context I want to be on the server. Then you say perform script normal. The same script you have here, you perform it normal with the same parameters, right? And when it's done, you close the window because you open a new window to simulate that you are in a new situation. You perform the script normally, and then you close. This will be like performing the script on server, exactly the same, but on client. And now it's this variable that decide what you want to do, right? It's this variable that decides client or PSOS. So how it works. And right? You need to put that here, and you need to put that here to make sure that you have the two collect. So you need to put that on the two situation. You cannot put that at the end because you have a closed window here, so it won't return, oh yeah, you can do that. Yeah, no, I'm doing, yeah, you can do that because, but you need to make sure that, this will be just after a perform script, because the script result will get the result from here, right? You will get the result from here and you get the result from here because they are both perform scripts. Whatever on server or not, this get script result will return the result. So let's see how it behaves, right? So here I say PSOS, right? The variable here says PSOS here. So I'm running on PSOS, else, right? So he ran the scripts and the variable works, right? Because he collected from the last perform script step, right? So this will collect from the last perform script, which is this one. This one is ignored. Now, if I do clients, here what happened. So I click here. It's not PSOS, so I open a new window, right? In the context I want. I perform scripts, so I get the variable. So now I'm performing the script locally, and I can debug it as it will be on the server. He perform, he set the variable, is not error, he go to the record, he says 101, he collects the error, he go to the, and he exit, he go there because I told him to go there. He exits scripts, he close the window, and then he collects the error the same. But the script was on its own block, on its own window, on its own situation. So it was like a simulation of performing the script on server. And this is based on what you decide here on this, right? Do we have any questions? I don't see any on Discord.
There's none on Twitch or YouTube either. So
okay, good.
I think you answered the two questions that existed.
Yeah. Okay. So now, though we learn the PSOS at the, when you start it, you need to make sure that you don't run crazy thing because that will be slow. Imagine, for example, I have a PSOS all over the place. I have PSOSs all over the place in my development. Imagine that you have I have a client with 100 plus users simultaneously, and I have PSOS. When each time you commit a record, each time you enter on a layout, or each time you press a button, you have PSOSs running. You don't want all the time when each time a user is performing your script, you don't want this on first window open to run all the time. That will slow down everything, that will kill your server. So that's why you need to be, cautious and put there in that part here whatever you need to do, set fields, because I have a lot of set field or set variable because you need whatever. But you need to be extremely cautious and put the minimum possible there, right? So now we have a little bit of time left. I want to show you how we can play with this, right? Play with that error, okay? Play with that error. Okay, perform fine, and go to rare records, right? So I'm not going to enter the JSON and stuff like that. Yeah, JSON will be the best way to do it, but I'm doing the most simple way. Okay. The most simple way, in my opinion. So I want to know what's going on here, right? And let's say on that script here, I'm going to simulate an error here. Okay, I'm going to simulate an error. Not this one. I don't know, repeating field one. Or okay, this will fail. So if I do it now on server, perform find 101. So why I have only one error? Remember? Before. So that's why you have good technique here. I'm showing you the advanced technique here. Before, this one wasn't failing. So it was passing. Okay, it was passing. So it wasn't failing, say, okay, 0, right? But now here, I have an error here. And that error, I say, oh, wow. If no error, if there's an error here, it's not error, but if there's an error, don't do this. This is not executed. So before it's not executed, it's not collecting the error. You just go and finish. And so that gives you a clue that something wrong happening on this, right? You understand? So that's the first way, but let's say I want 2 errors. So I'm not putting any safety net here. So now I will have 2 errors. I have a 4.1 and I have a 101. I have 2 errors, right? Okay. So how we can debug this? So I have this, that's why I have the variable here. And I say, okay, if, you have the pattern count, or we can have, so here, you see here, we have this here returns the last word will be a number, right? The last word. So here what we do, right? I have 2 values here. 2 values. 1 and 2. And I say, get value. Oh, yes. Copy this. Let's open the get value of this. And I want the name, the first, right? I want the first value of the list. So what this will return, what this will return. It will return this. If I want the second, I say 2. 1, 2, right? So I have the first one. So if the get value, but I want the last word, I want the number. I don't want what happened before, right? So if I want the last word, I say right word of this and the first one. So what this do? The right word of the first value of this, but I want the first word from the right. Return 4.1, right? First, I'm getting the first value of this, and then I have this, right? You understand? Okay. So if the right word is different from 0, right? It's different. Then I can say error, something wrong, okay? I don't know, the record, the current record couldn't be found. So you can be, like this, you can be couldn't be found. Couldn't see could, I never know. Could not be found. Okay. Right? Okay. So you have the first error, and then you can do whatever you want. Based on that information, you can run whatever you want. Okay, based on that information. And then you say you duplicate this, right? And you say if the second value, so you get the first and you get the second, if the second value, right? And you say no match, okay? And you can say the current record doesn't have any related records, okay? So see, now we have two information, the first and the last. So now, how it works. So let's say I make sure I will have two errors, right? So I'm performing these scripts on server. Am I on server? Yeah. Here what happened. Boom. Something wrong. The current record could not be found. Okay? The current record doesn't have any record because, But if you do the thing right and you put this, right? You put this, that we prevent that to happen based on that information. If there's an error here, don't do it. You have something cleaner. He said something wrong. Because normally you cannot go more than this because this kill everything, right? Because there's nothing. And you have, hold on, why is it that? It shouldn't have done it. Oops. Perform scripts. So, what the last? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's my demo has a flow. But anyway, you can, what's the name? You can be, so first, do we have any question? Because I skipped a step. That's why I'm lost.
We do have a question, I think, from Ruben. What is the best moment to make error messages user-friendly, in the PSOS script or in the script that starts the PSOS?
No, in the script that starts the PSOS. Typically, okay, I don't do this perform fine and stuff like that, right? So, I'll say, I mean, I don't do this, I just go and collect the errors, right? Because that makes the thing a little bit more complex, as you could see. Because if you remove that and you just collect a list of error codes like this, like this. So now here, see, you have only one error. So now you can go and do this. That's why I was, I missed a step. That's why. Instead of doing this, and you say, okay, you do this, and you take this here, right? And you say, pattern count, don't need, pattern count, pattern count, this, and you said 4.1. That error, right? For the something 101. That's something wrong for this one. Okay, that's something wrong for this one. Right? And if you say pattern count on this one, instead of doing this, and you say 4-1, because this is the error for no match. This is the error, perform fine. This is, so when you do this, it's better because you have this, no match. Some, that's it, you have one error, right? So, because here, you have the 4-1 coming, right? Only this one. So, coming from the list on this, right? So that's why you need to, what's the name? You need to learn the codes. And tomorrow I'm going to show you how we can do an advanced version of this, okay? But whatever you want to do, the principle is this. You set the variable with the results, right? So you have the errors coming. I don't know why I have only one. It should have done two, because I have this one that should fail too. List of errors and list. Oh yeah, because I think no, sorry. It's 4-1 this one, yeah, okay, and 101 this one. Sorry. So this one the 4-1 will pop up this, and the 101 will pop up this. If you have both, it will pop both, right? So let's perform it. So you have something wrong, and you have, oh yeah, because here I need to do this. Okay, so you have something wrong and you have no match because you have two errors, right? But if in your script you say if this failed, you don't have this, then you will return only that error, and then you have only one error because this never happened. So the principle is to play with it and to prevent things to happen based on the previous, right? Because you have many things that you can what's the name? You can prevent to happen, and you need to prevent things to happen. That's why you need to collect the information. You need to track the information, track the errors, and prevent things to happen based on the errors, right? And then at the end, you collect all the errors, and then here you can pop up the message that's based on the error you take here. Yeah. So the question is, as to do friendly, you do this. The friendly, you do this. When you collect the numbers, the list of numbers, right? For example, if if you say, for example, here you have two errors, so you can say something like this. I'm showing you a case scenario, and then you can do whatever you want. You can say something like this. If, by the way, we can do the if, else if here will be better. Right? That's better. But you can say, you can enhance this. You can be, you can enhance this and say, if the value counts on this, right, is greater than 1. That means there's more than one error, for example. Not one only, there's more than one error. You can show your own, so now you can base, thanks to that system of collecting a list, you can say, okay, if I have more than one, okay, then you can say back to the drawing board, because that means something, call RCC. Okay, that means you need help, because your script is screwed. So here, that means everything failed. You have many errors, and you want to track this. So now, right? If I say run everything to get the errors, so I say, okay, here, back to the drawing board, something wrong. You have 2 errors, right? You understand? So you can return whatever you want from this, right? Here on the script here, you can return whatever you want, right? For example, you can do a list of this and give you an example. Get get layout name, right? For example, or let's say you go to that layout and you say get found count, okay? For example, so you can collect many information. So you go there and you get the found count, but you have the list, you have everything here, right? Everything. So this is what it will return. We return this, we return this. So I have this, but if I look, I have error 141, I have error 101, I have 83 records in that layout, right? In that layout, I have 83 records. And you can say something else, okay? For example, if the last value of that variable, the last value, because here you build the thing that this is always the last value. It's the last. Here you can have 1, 2 or errors, but this will always be the last. So you can say, okay, the last, the right value, the right value on this, it's superior than 80, for example. Right values. Is the right values. The last one is superior than 80. For example, we'll give an example. You can say too many records, for example, right? And say, okay, the current record has too many related records. Sometime, I don't know, So now, right, you have all this happening in sequence. So, right, here what happened. So let's say I have no error here, right? No error, and, oh yeah, but this one won't work. I need to close this and if, and start a new if, because I want that to happen and then have this to happen. So because otherwise it will never run, right? You need to separate like this. This is a sequence. This one or this one or this one, but this one has to run on its own, okay? But based on the last result also. So when you do this, you have call RCC and say, okay, the current records has too many records, right? Here, it's hard to get, just, I'll show you just a recap before we go. Show you how to collect the information from the other side, prevent you to do mistakes in the script here. The most important thing you need to do is to make sure that when you have loops on server, that create records, okay, you need something to stop that in case of failures. And I show you before we go, this is a tip. For example, if you have a script, for example, that says, if you say, normally when you have a loop, you have a counter, right? You set a counter. right? And you set +1. So you have a counter, and then you have the logic, whatever, you know, you have whatever logic, okay? Whatever logic. And then, but sometimes the logic, and then you have an exits loop if, right? With your logic, you know. But if this fails, the loop will never stop, and you will create billions of records, like it happened to me. So I created a version of this, and I say, okay, I have an exit loop, you know, and in my logic of the exit loop, I said, if the counter is more than 100, you know, so exit loop, I don't need the if. Exit loop if the counter is more than 100. That means, for example, if I have to, if I know my script will never put more than, I don't know, 10 or 15 or whatever, put a margin, you put a margin, but at least the worst case scenario is that you will have to go to the table and delete 100 records, you know, bad records. But you won't have a completely wild script running that you need to go to the console and kill it. And then that I will show you tomorrow, okay? You don't want that, okay? You don't want that. So that is a good way to say, okay, you know, look, if you have more than 100, you know, kill everything, right? Kill everything. You understand? So that's a good way. That's a good way. Tomorrow we are going to see many things interesting. We are going to see how we can track errors, even if you say that off. Because I told you, remember, that you cannot track errors if that's off. That way, you cannot track this off. But you can put off, and that's another way to track errors. And I will show you that tomorrow. Right value could give you many related records. Yeah, okay, you put, you know, yeah, we can, Angel, I'm going to answer your question tomorrow.
Yes,
You know?
Unfortunately, I have a meeting coming up, so
yeah,
I need
to we need to land the
wrap
plane.
up.
Okay.
So I will remember your question. It's right there. We will deal with it tomorrow first thing.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nick, for doing this. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Let me pop over to my desktop, and then we'll do the ending tunes. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye tomorrow.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.